What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And before we get started, we just wanted to send out our condolences and, I mean, it doesn't mean much, but our thoughts to everyone affected by what happened in Bondi yesterday. An absolutely devastating event. And, you know, it's just one of those situations, like, what words can we say to weigh and measure something so devastating, so heartbreaking? Yeah, we truly are all feeling the weight of yesterday's events. And so we just wanted to send our condolences and thoughts to the people directly affected, but also to wider Australia as well. And in regards to, you know, the heroes of yesterday, the first responders, to anyone that made a decision to protect life rather than take it, we send our admiration, respect, and appreciation, especially, you know, to the absolute hero, and I say hero in every sense of the word, that wrestled the gun away from the terrorist attacker. Incredible, unbelievable bravery. So, yeah, as I said, you know, I'm not sure what words we can say that really can encapsulate the devastation that we're all feeling right now, but we're absolutely thinking of everyone affected by it. We're thinking of the gravity of what's happened as well. And yeah, I'm lost for words, boys.
Yeah, I think probably like the rest of the country, Kempy, pretty flat, pretty rattled by sort of everything that's going on. You know, as you said, not too much that we can sort of say here, but just condolences to all the families out there, the friends of the victims, anyone who was there in Bondi who will probably struggle, you know, to feel safe in public for a fair while off the back of what's happened. So, yeah, you summed up pretty well, mate, but it's, you know, it's a tragic time, so thinking of anyone involved.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, boys. Obviously, yeah, devastated for everybody affected, and definitely thinking of all of them. And again, you know, huge shout out to all the bravery and all the kind of the heroic stories we're hearing from yesterday as well. And, you know, really important for the community to stick together and all that sort of thing. So, devastating stuff yesterday. Yeah, so I think you summed it up well, mate.
Alrighty, let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about the Tigers. It's been a roller coaster, but first of all, Hammy, you went down to the march, or what would you call it?
Well, it was initially going to be a march, and then it ended up just probably being more of like a bit of a rally. Darcy Byrne, the Inner West Mayor, kind of got it going, and you know, encouraged fans who'd had a bit of a gutful of the current ownership and all the self-interest that's sort of been, you know, plaguing the club a little bit, to come and show their support for a bit of a united front and a bit of independence, because I think that's what this club needs to kind of move forward. So there's about 12 to 1,500 people down there the other day at Pratton Park. Good turnout. A lot of kind of like, you know, West Tigers content creators or just passionate fans were down there. And
what's the general sentiment?
General sentiment is they want the Homer Barnes group out.
Just gone. Yep.
Very hard to force someone who owns something out of that thing. But there's definitely a movement there, and people are not happy, and, you know, with the way that it's been going at the moment. I think someone who's kind of articulated a bit of a vision, or, you know, some ideas around this really articulately on SEN was actually Joel Kane a couple of weeks ago. He sort of threw out the way of thinking that maybe if they were to establish a new board or new kind of like ownership structure, or whoever was involved in a board, he goes, make the max age 50. No skin in the game on the Balmain side, on the West side. Like, if you're on that board, you're there because you care about the West Tigers. Very hard to do. However, you look around that rally that day, a lot of people there, you know, under 50, you know, younger people who just want a football team to support. They don't, you know, all these people that are just clinging on to the past. It's been, almost 26 years since the teams have merged. People have moved on. It hasn't been perfect, but people like myself, we're happy to go to games at Campbelltown. We're happy to go to games at Leichhardt. We kind of, you know, respect the past, but we want to have a team to support in the future. So I think that's why people were down there. Didn't get out of hand, didn't get too crazy. But yeah, they've established a new kind of like voice for the fans called West Tigers Unite, which I think Darcy Byrne and some of the others there will kind of take a bit of a leadership role there to try and hold the owners to account. And they're going to keep the pressure on them. There's been a few other games kind of outlined, maybe that first game at Leichhardt to start the season. They might kind of be another bit of a demonstration or whatever, but Yeah, I don't know. Good to see a lot of people singing off the same hymn sheet.
Yep.
It was good for people to kind of get together and.
Well, you weren't here last week. What are your feelings on the initial? We'll go over what's happened since then,
Yep.
but the initial drama about there wasn't transparency. We
Yep.
sacked 4 board members.
Yep.
Richo's gone. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the passion that Richo showed, and I thought the way that he kind of left on the way out, he showed a lot of class. That I'm not going to sit here and shit can the club. Going forward, he's a pretty hard taskmaster, does things his way. Said, if I'm going to be the CEO of this club, you've got to give me some freedom. And obviously they didn't kind of like that, the owners or whatever, but I thought he'd done a great job in kind of bringing the club together. He'd put Benji in. We'd managed to start attracting quality players to the club, which is something we haven't been able to do in a long time. I think the fans got the sense and, got a bit of hope that there was a vision, there was a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. We got off the bottom of the ladder. We probably had moments there where, we could have made a bit of a charge at the 8 this year. We felt like we were heading there next year, but then all this kind of stuff crept in again over the last couple of weeks. Very frustrating. But, obviously they sacked 4 members of the board, including the chairman, Barry O'Farrell. The NRL met with the owners and said, no, you're not going to do that. You're coming back in. I think at least 3 of them have come back. One of them might have said thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah,
can't really argue with them, to be honest with you. Why would you want the headache? But Barry O'Farrell's back in. So look, I guess that's good, but it's just that's not sustainable, is it? For the owners that have sacked those people to still be, within the same orbit as them. That ownership group's still got a couple of people on the board as well.
They've a director from their side has stepped down as well with some off-field stuff.
Yep. Just to focus on his Instagram account a bit more, I think. So, it's been a lot. Classic Tigers roller coaster over the last little while. It's not going to get solved overnight. It's probably going to continue to distract and stuff in the next little bit. But that's where it's at the moment. I think the fans and the members, and they're the important ones because the ownership group have come out and said we can do what we want. We own the club. We don't care how the fans and the members feel. And I think that's what's pissed a lot of fans and members off. Yeah. Because they're the owners. But who's the team for? It's for, without fans and members, there is no team.
Well, it kind of gives you a reflection of their mind state.
Correct. It's just selfish. That's all it is.
You're not thinking about it in the proper terms of the way they should be thinking about it. They're thinking of it, we own it.
Correct.
Timmy, your thoughts about the initial sacking, Richo gone, everything like that?
Yeah, it was the final one from Hammy there around ownership that sort of did it for me. And I was watching some videos from the rally the other day, and a shout out to the Tigers fans who were fed up to go out and do that and sort of start to make a bit of noise. And the quote from one of the videos I saw was, Holman Barnes, they don't own the Tigers. The fans own the Tigers. Because if the fans stop turning up and supporting the club, then they'll have nothing to own. And they'll go bust. So, that one really stood out to me. And it's just all messy. Like Shane Richardson, for how successful he's been for so many years, to be in and out in 2 years and basically walk away and say, I can't fix this burning ship. That says it all to me. So it's very messy, mate. I hope that sort of these movements have started from the fans and sort of a bit of the uproar has started to, the noise will make a difference long term. I don't know whether it will, but, we've got a few more points to touch on around the Tigers, but I just don't see things getting better. Hammy knows the ins and outs far better than I would do. But as you said, they've been reinstated, but the people who own them, they don't want them there. As you said, mate, how's that sustainable?
Yeah,
so,
that can't end well, can it?
Oh, I cannot believe this. For the Holman Barnes group, to sack 4 people.
Independent people.
So the 4 people that are supposed to be there to be an unbiased eye and then reinstate them would suggest to me that everything they said about transparency, it can't be too egregious. Because if it was as egregious as they had implied in their statement initially, and they went to Vlandis and said, mate, look at all the stuff they did. Vlandis would be like, oh, okay, this is untenable. You need to bring some. The fact that they are back in suggests to me that there wasn't that egregious and that they were just sacked because they were independent rather than... because there's this kind of narrative that's trying to be spun at the moment that Richo was like, Wild Wild West, he's a dictator or whatever. Richo didn't wake up at the start of this year and become that guy. You hired him. You hired that version of Richo. Now, am I sitting here saying that he's done everything perfectly and he's doing everything by the book? Absolutely not. I've said that from the start. If he's doing a few things that aren't necessarily the Holman Barnes group agree with, Like, unfortunately, do you want a guy that's in there getting shit done, but he doesn't really act the way that you would want? Or maybe there's a few things that, I don't know, he spent an extra 50 grand here or 100 grand here or even 200 grand. Like, surely you go, okay, that's not good. Let's have a conversation with him about these specific things. Mate, this can't happen again. However, this is the price what we are paying to have you in here to turn this club around. That's what I don't get. Like, I think most reasonable people are sitting there going, look, we're not sitting here saying Richo's an angel. But at the end of the day, he was hired as this current person. And if they didn't make a profit and if they didn't improve, then of course you get rid of him. But the fact that they'd made a profit, and I know there's some people say, oh, well, they made a profit because there was a $1 million grant from the PNG situation. Look, at the end of the day, they made a profit. That's all that matters, in my opinion. The idea that you would sack 4 board members, bring them back, one of them doesn't want to come back, then Richo goes, like, all because of something that clearly isn't as egregious as they initially implied, because then you wouldn't bring the 4 people back. Like, let's say the implication was Richo was just willy-nilly doing crazy, whatever he was doing, then the chairman should be held to account for that. So why is he back there? It clearly can't be as bad as some people are saying. It clearly. And so, and like, they're both, look, I get it, it's a propaganda war from Richo's side, and everyone's throwing mud at each other. I get all that. But surely there's a better way forward than sacking 4 board members. Like, surely, and they'd only been there for like, 9 months max, 6 months or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, if what they had done was so bad, they deserve to be not just warned, sacked. There's no way they'd be brought back to the club. There's just no way.
Yep.
There's just no way. And that's what I just don't get about this. Like, I really don't understand. Anyone that's like giving Holman Barnes a leg to stand on in this situation, I don't get it. I don't get it. Even if you grant everything that they say, yeah, okay, there wasn't great transparency, yeah, okay, certain decisions were being made without there, whatever. Let's say I grant you all that, even though I don't think that's fully the case, but let's say I grant you all that. Surely there are better ways to handle it than sacking just the independent board members. Another thing that I don't get is how come they didn't sack their own board members as well?
They're like, we've been kept out of loop with all these board decisions being made. You have 2 people on that board that are members of your group.
That didn't get sacked.
So what are they doing? One of them might be scrolling on Instagram during the meeting.
And the
other one...
You know what's funny? He's the only one that had to step down.
Yeah.
Their side is the only one that had to step down in all this.
Yeah. It's outrageous. And you never really... Like, there's been one video I think they've put up explaining... or not even just kind of giving you a bit of an update on
transparency on announcements and this vague terminology.
Super transparent. The comments were turned off and everything. So it was really good.
Yeah, we know
really
what you're talking about.
Yeah, so, you never really... Yeah, there was some good points made by Darcy Byrne at the thing the other day. Goes, you never hear from the Holman Barnes group. It's just like this weird acronym, HBG. You read it in the paper. You never really... You can't put too many faces to this kind of group. They're just disrupting. They wreck the club. And, it's not sustainable. So
it's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, the 1 year where you're actually bouncing back and
how self-interested have you got to be? They've just improved.
Yeah.
We've, signed... So many great quality players that we've struggled for years to do. Everyone's feeling like there's a bit of improvement. They, throw a new jersey out there. They go, there's too much orange on it. We don't like it or whatever. So what we're going to do to the team that's improving, that the fans are excited about, that, they've got more members than they've had. They've just turned a profit. We're going to disrupt that process.
Yeah.
Just because it puts us back in the picture and it gets people talking about us. It's so selfish.
It's so weird. It's so strange.
I think that's why the general sentiment is pretty unanimous from the fans. It's just like, get out of here. Like, you're not helping kind of improve the club at all.
So that all happens, and if you didn't think it could get any stranger, so there's essentially the implication initially is that the way the club's being run is poor, the decisions being made were not transparent, and then there's whispers that Benji might be on his way out. So instead of, just reassuring the playing group and going, no, Benji's here to stay, nothing to worry about. Matter of fact, we'll give him a year extension or whatever. They extend Benji till 2030. Listen, I love Benji and good on the bloke. Like, good on Benji for getting this contract. What a great contract. But respectfully, and he's even said it himself, quoted himself saying, like, haven't really earned this extension. He hasn't earned the extension.
Should have been longer.
Listen, I could get a 1 year extension to send a message to the playing group. No, Benji's our man. It's all good. To extend him to 2030 is outrageous, in my opinion. That is outrageous behaviour. To go from sacking 4 board members, essentially forcing the CEO out, to then extending the coach that the CEO put in till 2030, that although has made improvements, although has recruited really well, still has 2 years to run his contract. This is outrageous behaviour, in my opinion. Absolutely outrageous behaviour.
Yeah, it's absurd. And like just the timing of it all, it screams to me of knee-jerk reaction to let's try and put this fire out by taking the headlines off the board and the admin and everything that's going on to, we're doing a positive thing, extending our coach. As you said, can be good on Benji Marshall.
Yeah, good on him.
But what he's done in the last couple of years has not warranted an extension till 2030.
Which coaches are getting 5-year extensions, essentially?
Yeah.
Who's getting that?
I hope this doesn't end in tears, but I think in 5 years' time we're probably looking back and there's every chance it does. I hope Benji leads them to the golden era and finals footy and hopefully a premiership for you. It's just so... It didn't need to be done. Not 5 years.
What I don't get as well is, like, let's say he does see that 5 years out. That means he's killing it. That means that you can extend him at any time in the period he's killing it. What the fuck? Like, right now... And again, I say this respectfully to Benji, who's lining up to sign Benji as a head coach?
That forces the extension.
That forces the extension like this. I'd get it if there was a tug of war between Benji because he's a legend of the game. He knows it so well. But he is a rookie coach learning his trade that essentially has got a 7-year deal? Mm-hmm. Like if you add up those first 2 years, he's got a 7-year deal. Like what the fuck is going on here? I mean, maybe I'm being too pessimistic, but it's just bizarre to me.
Well, I'm going to go glass half full. I'll get in behind Benji because...
I'm behind Benji. I'm with him. It's just the fucking 2030 that I'm like...
I know. Maybe it's a little bit long, but I think they had to extend him somewhat.
I'm with you.
Because it got leaked that the Holman Barnes group had scoped out Brad Arthur to be the new coach of the West Tigers. And as soon as that story broke, 7 players, probably 7 of our best players, Luai, Buller, both the May brothers, all 3 Finu brothers said, if Benji leaves, we're all leaving together at the same time. So if this disruption, Benji had gone, stuff this, I'm not sticking around to see this out, it would have been even worse. It would have actually then started to affect the on-field. So they had to shore him up to keep some of those big names that he's done so well to recruit. If Benji wasn't at the club, we wouldn't have signed Jerome Luai. Honestly.
I will say, though, what you do? You come out and you say, that's not true. We're not signing Brett Arthur. Benji's our coach. He's signed in. We're happy with him. We're stoked. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like you can say that, but they had to probably do something, like some action to suggest that he's actually staying for, the long term.
A 1-year extension.
Oh, yeah. It could have been a little bit shorter maybe, but look.
That would have kept him until 28.
Yeah.
Most of these boys' aren't even contracted to 2030.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm on board with them extending him in order to retain those players.
Oh, look, I get it, and I'm with you too. Like, if they had to go, okay, let's just throw down a year to really show how strongly we're behind Benji, I'll get around that. But, they're doing it for players that aren't even contracted to the club in 2030. Like, Luai's, his clauses aren't going anywhere. Buller hasn't re-signed yet. The Fainu brothers, what are they signed till 27, I think?
Yeah, I think there might be one new difference between a couple of them.
It's just outrageous behaviour.
27.
27, 26 and 27?
No, both 20.
Oh, they're all 27.
Sione's 26 and the other 2 are 27.
Yeah.
So, they, November 1 this year, coming, they'll be allowed to negotiate. Again, they're already contracted with Benji until the end of his initial contract, which was 27.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if he had just walked,
for sure,
would have always been like, we're out of here.
I'm with you. But I'm sure there are better ways to do it than essentially a 5-year deal, but a 3-year extension. Surely.
There probably are. But they've done it now, and hopefully it keeps those players and other ones, because that's the one thing that a lot of people go, look at his record in the last 2 years. Doesn't make for that great reading, and look, probably doesn't, the wins and the losses, but so many coaches. Look at the coaches we've had there: Ivan Cleary, Madge. They haven't been able to attract good quality, top quality players to the club who actually want to be there, who aren't just didn't play Origin a few years ago and looking for a big paycheck at the end of their career. He is doing something that a lot of other coaches have really struggled to do. And if he can keep that group together and they're happy playing for Benji, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone gels with him. Not everyone wants to be there, and a few people have kind of left or whatever, but he is able to get certain types of players that are really, high quality players in the prime of their career. So for that reason, I think he's actually a good appointment. And, you'd rather have him than a couple of coaches who might have more wins than losses on their record, but they don't have this kind of aura that he's got and the ability to attract really high quality players.
No, I'm with you. I like the appointment. I think it's been great for the club. I think, ironically, the guy that did it is no longer at the club, which is the guy that put all this in motion is no longer at the club. It's but we'll extend the guy that he brought in for anyway. I just think there are smarter ways that could have protected him far more than extending all the way till 2030. And look, maybe Benji's management saw this opportunity and said, you know what, we've got this leverage, let's use it. But again, till 2030, like how many coaches are even coaching a club for 5 years? Will be 7 by then? I think it'll be about 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, bizarre stuff. I understand why, but surely there's a middle ground. That's the problem with the Holman Barnes group. It feels like there's no middle ground. It's either sack 4 board members or bring them all back instead of like negotiating with these board members and being like, okay, these certain things didn't go well. We need to change this and this. It's one extreme to the other. The new interim CEO is Sean Milkamp. Now, he is from the Central Coast Mariners in soccer.
Yes.
I guess there were talks about Mestrov, but that doesn't mean he won't come eventually. But I'd be surprised if he was there, surely.
Again, that was the Holman Barnes group scoping him out. So I'd probably rather the Milk Camp. He's been around the club for 12 months in other roles. I'd probably prefer to give him a crack.
He was pretty, like, I know you can't go off a press conference, but he was pretty impressive in that press conference that I watched.
He's been a part of the success. You got to remember, Richo was the CEO, but it's all the guys underneath and girls underneath him that are doing a lot of the work. He's just the vision guy that says go and do this.
I'm pretty sure Mariners had success under him. Didn't they win an A-League
Mariners
with the Cum Dog?
Mate, he took him from nothing to the big dogs.
So he knows his stuff. But yeah, I just think that they need an independent board. If you won't go as far as like, look, I think Laundy should just buy him, but it is what it is. He's already come out and said he would. If that's not the case, it needs to be an independent board, completely independent. Like completely independent from both sides. They report yes to the Holman Barnes group because I doubt they're just going to give it away, or at the very least, selling something that big takes a long time. But they can no longer be this weird split. Independent board, in my opinion.
They have to go.
Yeah,
it's not going to work with them there.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep. I think that surely the beginning. The problem is now is like if they go to market now, people attempting to buy it know they've got leverage. They know they're under pressure. They know that they want gone, so they're not going to buy the club for as much. Which again, what's so crazy is like the club's going like this, and you're going, okay, so our value's going up. Everything looks harmonious. We've got this legend of a coach. Everything's heading in the same direction. And then you just chop it down. So you're decreasing the value of your own business as well. That's what's also crazy. Like, anyway, to be honest, they probably don't. I think they make about 50 mil revenue on their league club and all that kind of stuff. 25 mil revenue on the Tigers, and only maybe a million of that is profit. So to them, let's say they make 10 mil profit in the other side of their business. Maybe it's not. They can afford to take that little hit every now and then. But yeah, bizarre situation. So bizarre. The fans deserve so much better than this. Like, I'm glad the NRL were quite bullish on certain things happening because the NRL, they need to hold this club to account because it's been outrageous for too long.
Yeah.
Like, it just has.
Yeah. Volandis is a problem solver. I'm hopeful he can sort it out for us.
If I'm hoping Vlandis is saying similar to what you're saying is like, guys, look, I can't tell you what to do, but this is untenable. You have to sell this. Like, this is not working for anyone. The problem is that it seems that from the Holman Barnes group, like they are so West dedicated that it's like it's more than money to them.
Yeah.
So I just don't know whether they'll do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think they truly thought long term that there could be a time where West were back in the comp.
Well, guess what? It's not happening.
It'll never happen.
So
I said this on the podcast last week. West Tigers, and I say this respectfully, are closer to getting kicked out of the comp than they are to bringing the Magpies back.
Correct.
Like, it's never happening. Yeah. Never, ever, ever. Like, as if Landys would ever allow that to happen and just look like a pushover. Oh, yeah, you can just manipulate your way into getting a license in this.
No.
Landys would almost go, okay, try that, and we'll just get rid of you and bring in Ipswich, like West to Brisbane. Like, right. Anyway. Okay. Harry Grant wins the Golden Boot. Yeah, look, I think the obvious answer is that Dylan Brown should have won the Golden Boot. Harry Grant, great player. Oh, look, we don't even need to... All these things that we're about to say, great player, we love him, he's a gun. Everyone knows that. We all know that. There's no even point saying that. Legend of a bloke, absolutely incredible player. Dylan Brown should have won the Golden Boot, and it shouldn't even have been a question.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face to the Pacific Championships, in my opinion, mate. Like, it's the way I read it because of how much better that I personally and a lot of people think Dylan Brown was than Harry Grant in the rep period. it just says that it's like they valued the Ashes more than the Pacific Championships. Like Dylan Brown, Rando threw some stats out about a week ago. Harry Grant for the series, 1 try, 116 tackles, 248 metres. Dylan Brown in the Pacific Championships, 3 tries, 7 try assists, 19 tackle breaks, 476 metres. Stats aren't everything, but you look at the fact that the Kiwis were dominant. They won the final 36-14. In that game, he had 3 try assists and ran for 200 metres. It's, as you said, Kempy, it's not a question mark, and I think it's a slap in the face to the Pacific Championships.
It wasn't even close as to who the best player was. If anything, the closeness between who the best player was, in my opinion, between Tarpiner and Brown.
But it's not
more Kiwis.
It's not on Aussies. It's the IRL. Obviously, there's a lot of Aussies that have a say in it.
I understand that, but from a Kiwis perspective, they've been dealing with this kind of stuff for quite a while. And granted, look, it's gone the other way as well. You'll never forget that the whole SJ situation that he had to go through. So I'm not saying. I'm just saying that they will feel like that's how they're getting treated. Like they're getting treated like a second-rate team. The Pac Champs is getting treated like what you said. The Pac Champs is getting treated like a second-rate, second tier. If anyone watched it, Pacific Champs was a higher quality football. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, I'll listen to your argument, but I just don't agree with it. I watched every game. Pacific Champs was a high quality level of football, in my opinion.
Yes, I'd agree. And it's interesting as well, though. Grant won it, even though another one of his teammates won the Player of the Series over there, Cameron Munster.
That makes sense.
So that was even stranger. Dylan Brown, I do wonder, if it is maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise not winning it, given I've just read Sean Johnson's book, Perspective. Perspective. And he basically said that he wishes he didn't win it early in his career because it followed him around, and when he went through form slumps, it would always be former Golden Boot winner, Sean Johnson. It just piled a lot more.
And his situation was weird too because, I don't think people at the time had realised, I think this is the case, I could be wrong, that it was just from international games.
Yeah.
So he had played really well.
It was the first year that it had come in, isn't it?
So people had thought that the Golden Boot was just the best player in the world, period.
Which it used to be.
It used to be that.
Used to factor everything in.
It got changed to the best player playing for his country, and Sean Johnson got absolutely annihilated for it.
Yeah, 100%. So look, I think we all agree Dylan Brown, his 3 games for New Zealand were outstanding and the best performances in international footy.
Night and day.
But, he's got a lot on his plate next year, as it is. There'll be a lot of eyeballs on him anyway, a lot of scrutiny. Not that should factor into the thinking of it or anything, but, maybe long-term it'll be a bit of a blessing in disguise for him. But, to your point as well, if he didn't win it, the other bloke in that shortlist, that had to be Joe Tarpiner, didn't it?
Yeah, boys, I'm with you. I thought it was between Tarpiner and Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
I just, I don't. It doesn't make sense. Now, I will say I really respect Harry Grant. I know it's, people could say it's just words, but at the same time, you're still humbling yourself by saying this. So he said, "I'm humbled to receive this award, given the past Golden Boot winners and the caliber of players nominated. It's almost difficult to receive this award knowing someone deserving has missed out." And I think it's pretty clear what he's alluding to. I think he's pretty clear without trying to disrespect the award and all that kind of stuff. I just don't know how it happens. I don't know how you can watch those 2 Pac Champs and the Ashes and think Dylan Brown wasn't the best player by a country mile.
Yeah, it's not even a question. It beats me.
I'd get it I'd understand if, it was relatively close, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just... number 9s probably don't get enough credit for the stuff they do get through, and we're so used to Harry Grant having all these great stats that we don't actually, the 45 tackles that he made, or the good decisions that he made. I get all that, but unfortunately it just wasn't close. Dylan Brown was head and shoulders above everyone else. And the closest to him, in my opinion, was Tarpiner. And then to make it even stranger, Munster won Player of the Series for Australia. So how does that work?
Yeah.
Rightly so.
I would have had Munster as Player of the Series as well.
I can't believe they didn't pick Dylan Brown. Come on.
It's so strange. I'd love to sit down and go, what was the process here? What did you see that I didn't see that made it that he was better than a guy that absolutely tore the Pac Champs apart? He had one of the best games from an international I've nearly ever seen, Dylan Brown, in the final. Anyway, so I feel the problem is as well is when situations like this happen, everyone takes their anger out on Harry Grant like he's the one that gave it to himself. And it's Harry Grant. How dare he take that award? It's not him that selected it.
Yeah.
He didn't select himself. Same with the whole SJ situation. no one else got hounded except for SJ. Like, he didn't select himself.
No.
It's direct your frustration elsewhere. Harry Grant didn't do it. Okay, so big news. Liam Henry signs with the Perth Bears. Nick Meaney talks with Perth as well. Huge get for Perth. I think that this is exactly what they needed. It's interesting. I think when Perth kind of came into the comp, I was sitting there going, okay, if I am Perth, I'm trying to get a guy like Leota across there that is probably on a decent wicket, but probably not getting paid anywhere near what he deserves. Now, it seems that either two things happened, that they just identified Liam Henry as younger, or it seems that the Panthers were like, no, we are not going to allow... We can't get... Leota is the heart and soul of us. If we lose him, we are really in a bit of bother. So Liam Henry signs. I really like this signing from Perth. And look, it's going to be tough in regards to... I think Perth are really going to struggle in their first few years. However, Liam Henry, I don't think we've even seen the best of him because he is in that Penrith system, because he's coming off the bench a lot of the time. I can't wait to see how he goes.
Oh, awesome signing. As you said, mate, player signing, so much of it is about value, and I haven't seen the figures or if they've been revealed what he's signed for, but you can't help but feel like whatever it is, he's unders because opportunities have been pretty limited in this unbelievable Penrith pack who have been pretty durable in recent years, and between Leota and Fish and Isaiah Yeo, they're key players through the middle who play so many games. It just hasn't been there. We know how good he can be. He can play across middle, across edge. He brings ticker. He'll bring heart to a new club. Like
good standards as well.
Yeah, fantastic signing. Yeah, like I said, just to get a bloke with so much experience in this Penrith system to bring over with him, with himself, like it's gold.
Obviously, he's done really well this year for Penrith when he's kind of stepped in, and obviously they lost Fish last year, and their pack's still very, very good. So. Yeah, a great signing for Perth.
I will say, though, it's a really interesting situation with Lindsay Smith now, because both were reportedly going on the market. And it is a case of, it's one area of transfers that we don't speak enough about. It's timing. And so you sit there and you go, okay, when a player takes this contract really early, why did he sign that deal so early? Why didn't he wait till the season happened or whatever? Well, the reason is because you might lose your leverage in the market when someone like Liam Henry is now signed with Perth. So I highly doubt Perth are going to go sign Lindsay Smith on a big wicket. So it reduces, like, now Lindsay Smith, when he's going to speak to other clubs, he can't say, well, Perth want me. This is my value. So I wonder, will Penrith still be open to allowing Lindsay Smith, not allowing, but to say you can test your value? Because, he's an Australian front rower. Will play Origin as well. Going to be interesting to see. What do you reckon happens with Lindsay Smith? Do you think that Penrith are still like, no, we need to clear the books up a bit because we're under pressure? What do you reckon?
Well, mate, Liam Henry signing, it might be telling. Maybe he knows something that we don't know about Lindsay Smith and his future at the Panthers. Maybe he has said to him, I'm staying here, I'm not going anywhere, or the club have told Liam Henry, and that's a part of this, because if Lindsay Smith were to leave in the next sort of, 2 years or 12 months, whatever it might be, when his contract's up, Liam Henry's probably on, sweet, I'm the next man up to start in the front row, so...
Yeah, I mean, I hope Penrith can keep Lindsay Smith, because, look, they've proven us wrong a bazillion times. But if they were to lose Lindsay after losing Fish, like, I'm trying to think who's that next guy up that can play that role. Like, maybe they've got some young guy coming through. Now, they've got some young big boppers off the bench, but they don't play like Lindsay Smith. Lindsay Smith is more of an Isaiah Yeo style front rower. Who have they really got there to take that role up of low error count, high fitness?
Yeah, I'm getting the squad up, but...
Not really. Not to my understanding. I know they got a big bopper. I'm forgetting his name, but he played at Suncorp, I think, against the Broncos and came on and scored. Big boy, explosive. More probably on the Leota side than
Laurent Patea.
Yeah,
he was gun.
He's gun, but he's not a Lindsay Smith
he's
style.
He's more explosive. Like, they've obviously got Isaiah Papali'i, who was outstanding last year. Maybe if they were to lose Lindsay Smith, he becomes that more nimble sort of middle forward, which he's turned into in recent years. But
geez, they fall on him quite a lot though, Lindsay Smith. Like he takes up a lot of that slack for
huge.
Isaiah Yeo.
Yeah.
Because on the open market, like, he's probably going to get a pretty decent... What do you reckon Lindsay Smith... Like, I reckon Liam Henry probably signed for about 600. Perth, you reckon? 600?
It's a lot of money. I'd say closer to 5 than 6.
Yeah. Maybe they got to pay a bit more to get him over
that's
there.
That's what I mean. Well, he's your starting front row. If you're paying your starting front row 600, that's a good get. Because starting front rowers now, they're nearly $1 million on average. I think they're like the third or fourth highest paid player.
There's a lot of roster spots to come. He's not guaranteed to be starting front row.
Yeah, fair. I reckon that he would have been signed as a starting front rower. If you're coming off the bench for Panthers the last couple of years, unless they can get like some huge get. But if I'm Perth, I'm probably leaning more into getting a guy like Henry for 600k at the front row, going, okay, is he, Adam Fanua-Blake? Is he Payne Haas? Is he, Tarpinen? No. But could he be that? Maybe. I don't know. And also we get him for about 600K. Because, what other front rower do you think's on the market right now that they could probably get that's a top tier current front rower?
I'm not sure who's on the market right now.
There's not much, I don't think. I don't think there's much.
Yeah, I'm also not sure. I mean, bit of chat that Tino's looking to...
Surely he's not going to Perth. Really interesting. Like, Tino's, I will say with
the
this
Roosters have entered the chat for Tino.
Yeah, it's a change. I will say with this whole Tiger situation, I'm not saying Titans are anywhere near as bad as the Tigers.
They're worse.
But it just reminds you why these players have these clauses in this contract. Like, when stuff like this happens, you just go, oh, man. So, look, Henry liked that. Nick Meaney in talks with Perth. I think Nick Meaney would be a great signing for Perth. Yeah. Like, exactly what they need. An NRL, high-quality NRL player. Yeah, is he NRL? Is he Origin level? No. Could he do a job at Origin? I actually think he could. But he's just not that top tier of outside back. Can he play in multiple positions? Super durable. I think Nick Meaney would be a perfect signing for Perth.
Versatility is just king when it comes to contracts. And all right, he might not be a well-beaten Nick Meaney, but especially when you're a new franchise and you don't, they have no idea what their roster's going to look like come round one, in a couple of years' time. To sign, if they can sign him and have a bloke that go, all right, no matter what happens, and we know the Dolphins, they struggled for a lot of names and big names and putting this roster together. We've got fullback covered, wing covered, centre covered. 6 at a pinch. 5'8". He can play 14 off the bench because he's so versatile. Centre. Not going to cost him too much. He's a decent goal kicker. It'd be a very reassuring signing to have Nick Meaney on your books. Yeah, and also he also has those great games in him as well. He's not... Some outside backs, when you say they're not top tier, you go, oh, well, they just play 7.5 out of 10 every week. There are some games, Meaney plays 9 out of 10. Yeah, so it's I think it'd be a great signing, especially for a new club. Yeah,
the other thing with him as well, clearly Bellamy rates him really highly. He's been a staple of a Craig Bellamy team for, 4 or 5 years now. And he's coming from a very successful club like the Storm, so he can come and help drive some standards and all that sort of stuff as well. Having a leader who's come out of a system like the Storm, pretty valuable asset as well.
I will say from a Storm perspective, look, I always trust the Storm to develop, but geez, he's filled some holes at the Storm. Far out. They probably can't afford him at the moment, but if they were to lose him, I'm thinking of their outside backs at the moment, and I'm trying to think who is the most consistent outside back. Pappy gone, he's gone. If he does go, sorry. Howarth is a gun, but he was injured last year, and he doesn't have as many runs on the board as you've got Will Warbrick, who we know gun. Coates, but he's not. You're paying Coates top tier money, so all of a sudden, it does leave a bit of a hole in that back line if Meaney does go.
It will. If he does go, they'll have a plan in place. They'll have someone.
Of course. It's bloody Melbourne Storm.
But and the other thing when you talk about contract value, mate, you already touched on it, but just durability. In his last 5 seasons, he's played 22-plus games every year. In fact, in 2020, the 20-game season or whatever it was, he played 16, so same diff. 2019 at the Doggies, 22 games as well. So
wow. Super durable. Which is so crazy in today's game, durability, without all the injuries and that. Just quickly on Melbourne, what a strange situation they find themselves in. Obviously Pappy gone, Nas gone, Katoa situation, which is devastating. Actually, can you please get up? So the news was that I think two trainers got 2-year bans, and then one trainer, assistant trainer or something, got a warning, an official warning. So it's good to see that the NRL have taken action with this. I would have hated to see, it just kind of play on, nothing happen. Because the Katoa situation, we just never ever can happen again. It really can't. It just literally cannot happen again. But Melbourne Storm find themselves in a bit of a strange situation. Are we talking? Melbourne Storm don't do rebuilds. That's what makes them so great. But are we talking a couple of down years, or do you think the Melbourne Storm are looking at Munster, Hughes? They're probably in their last couple of years. Where are we at with Storm? A bit of a tough year ahead, I think. I think they'll still make the 8, but I don't know. I just look at the losses they've had. It's making me just worry a little bit. Yeah, well, I think all these names coming off the books means there's money to play with, and people will take unders to go and play under Craig Bellamy at the Melbourne Storm, and Tino Fasuamalawi, if they were to get him there, I think a lot of these headaches are solved very, very quickly. So I want to see what they do with this money that's getting freed up from Pappenhausen, from Asafa Solomona, from blokes like Meaney who might be leaving. There's moves to be made, and let's. How do you see him for 26? Sorry.
They'll be up there. They're competing, mate. They've still got an absolutely world-class spine, even without Ryan Pappenhausen. Suafa'alongo, he's the wild card. He could absolutely light up at fullback, and it could be like...
Top 4?
Yep.
How you think next year they're going?
Yeah, I've got them. I'd say top 4. They always find a way, don't they? You know, when we've written them off. Maybe some little gaps there or whatever, but... You know, they're that good, they'll be thereabouts. It's just about staying fit, you know, keeping those guys out there, the ones that they've still got for as long as they can. But yeah, they've got a bit of money to play for as well, which is dangerous.
Yeah. I got them top 4 as well. I just, you know, the loss of Cattell for the season at the very least, like he was essentially their best player last year. Not everything, but a lot happened around him. And so I think that's going to be, they've got Hetherington down there now. They got the young Penrith. He's not young, sorry, anymore. Sonny Luke. Yeah, he's down there as well. And then they got Trent Tolau, I think, as well down there.
Yeah, the 7. Yep.
Yeah.
So they've made quite a few recruitments just under the radar. But yeah, next year I've got them top 4, but I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the whole losing a couple of players. What do you got there, Matty?
So 24 months, so 2 years for the head doctor, the assistant doctor, and the orange shirt trainer, which is the head trainer, and the yellow shirt trainer, which is the medical assistant, got a formal warning. So 3 people, 24 months. Yeah.
Man. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do there. Then you've got Bellyache, you know, who's 27 his last year, or, you know, what's happening there. A lot of questions around the Storm. And when I say that, there's Storm fans that just think that I'm saying that, they're done. And, we've been here before, everyone says we're done. I'm not saying the Storm are done. I just think there are a lot of questions heading into the next couple of years of what direction do they take, you know? Does Bellamy re-sign? You know, do they go out and sign some big names? Do they develop from juniors? Like, there's just a lot of questions. Whereas I feel like their last generation, when they rolled everything over, it was extremely clear. Munster's the next big dog. Harry Grant's the next number 9. Jerome Hughes, a little bit of a different situation, but they moved him in after Cross struggled. Like, I just think they had a lot of answers to questions pretty clear for the next 5 years. Whereas at the moment, like, who's the next halves if Hughes and Munster are gone after 27?
Yeah, the path isn't as clear as it has been ever.
Which, again, doesn't mean they won't fill it and kill it. I'm just saying it's just a question that's being asked.
How,
how do they do it? Shibisaki reports suggest that the rival deals are expected to blow Broncos out of the water for Shibisaki. Look, I think that this is... it's funny, actually. Sowie called this really early on. But I just think this is almost a natural... Like, what can you do if you're the Broncos? You can't really afford to pay Katoni Staggs, who, especially back end of the last year, was one of our best players. Shibisaki, who has been absolutely outstanding, but like you can't afford to play 2 centres, 600K or 500K or whatever.
No, and you plan your salary cap years in advance, especially like key positions and whatnot, and starting players in your 17. Shibisaki, they had him on the books at the start of the year as a 200K a year player.
Training trial.
And a year later, they go, all right, we've got a player who's now worth, I don't know, 657, whatever it might be, as a rep star, so like possibly more. So, you know, the books haven't accounted for that. The planning hasn't accounted for that. So it's natural. There's going to be clubs come with a lot of money in the war chest that the Broncos probably don't have.
Yep, sorry to go back to the Storm. I just went through my notes. The one signing that I love is Oren Keeley.
Wonderful.
Oh my God. Like, he is truly going to be a typical Storm signing. Like, it might be quiet the first year where he rebuilds everything, but Oren Keeley, like, I think that guy is a gun. Yeah. A gun. And for them to pick him out, I think it's a great signing.
13? Pretty versatile.
Yeah, maybe. So at the moment, they've got Trent Leoro. No, I think Leoro will probably say.
But like he comes on and just plays for the middle.
Maybe edge, because he played a bit of edge at Dolphins.
They tried a lot of players on the edge, and they all went well, to be fair, the Dolphins.
Yeah, so true. But I love the signing of Keeley. I really, really do. Now, back to the Broncos, and then we'll get to the Eels re-signing Iongi for 5 years. The Broncos, with Shibisaki, what's his market value? Because the problem is that, yes, right now, if you look at Origin player, Australian player, great season, or grand final hero, but he hasn't done it year after year. And so it's that really tough question of like, you know, what do you pay for a guy like that? Yeah.
I think he's going to get a cracking offer from someone that whatever that figure is, I'm going to see as overs. That's nothing on him, but he said it's 1 year, and 12 months ago he didn't know if this bloke was ever going to play NRL again. He's been fantastic. you also got to add in, he played for the premiership winning team, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. He was fantastic. So he'll get over somewhere. And you know what? When you play for your state and your country and you win everything you've done in 1 year, he deserves it. But, I mean, if I was paying for him on the spot, I don't know, 5, 6.
Yep.
100. I think
I'd try 5.
Yeah. I'd be going 6 max. I think he'll get more than that. But yeah.
Oh, it's a tough one. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, I reckon they'll be throwing more in than that. I would have thought 7, like probably where they'll.
I reckon he'll get that somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there might be some teams that might even try to offer him a little bit more than that, but probably I could see him getting an offer of 7 somewhere.
Good on him if he does. Bloody hell, what a journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already been an incredible journey, but, you know, I do think that he's going to be, he understands what it takes to be, you know, a bloody good player now. But, oh, man, I wouldn't be signing longer than a 2-year deal. I know he'll probably get a 3-year deal, but if I'm a club, 2 years and kind of work from there.
Yeah. Interesting to see, you know, where he sits on it. Maybe he'll go, you know, maybe I owe the Broncos a little bit, you know, another year or two. They gave me a crack to kind of get back in there. But, you know, I know you've only got a small window to.
Yeah, he's got such a tiny window to make that money.
That's right. Anyway.
Like, for example, that they reckon Taylor May signed for 700, I think.
The Tigers,
the Tigers, yeah. And so, like, although Shibisaki's had a great year, Taylor May is, in my opinion, a better centre. You know, so I guess when you're looking at it like that, you know, should you be paying a guy, you know, let's say 800K? Yes, he has played for his state and he's, you know, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I can understand why they would get to that point. What I hope he signs a massive deal because this story is one of the great stories all time of like not even knowing whether you're going to play footy that year, going down because Paddy Carrigan said, and he's been on a podcast, he's talked about how the fact that like Paddy Carrigan was essentially like shouting him in feeds in that when he was down here because he was on essentially no money. To go from that to winning an Origin Game 3 and playing for your nation, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Brilliant, yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. So, I guess we'll wait and see what happens there. But I can understand if I was advising Shibisaki, I'd be like, mate, get your money. Like,
freaking oath.
Get your money,
Cash
mate.
in.
You've won a premiership. You're not breaking contract. You're going to be playing a whole other year on that training trial contract as well. So there's your give back-ish moment. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he could agitate for a release immediately and get that money straight away, but he's not. Get your money, mate. Absolutely. Especially if it's all done, you know.
And he's not
fairly.
a spring chicken. He's not 19 years old and you got your whole career. Like he's, you know, he's peaked a lot later and hit the scene a lot later. So,
and also he's not doing anything wrong. Like he's going to see his contract out. Nothing wrong with him. You know. I get the argument. I know what you're saying in regards to loyalty or whatever, but it's like,
if point taken.
Yeah, he's going to give back this year by playing on massive unders. That's in my opinion a good enough for me. Okay, Iongi has signed a 5-year. Was it a 5-year or 3-year extension? But anyway, till 2030. So essentially,
it was an extension, but it is for the next 5 years.
It's for the next 5 years. Look, depending on the amount, they haven't really been clear on the amount, but I don't always love 5-year deals. But how good Iongi was, if you can get him for a bit unders. Look, I'm stoked for Iongi, that's for sure. Absolutely stoked. I don't mind it from Niels. I don't mind it.
I love it.
Yeah.
He's sensational this year. He's going to get better and better very quickly. As he does, his contract value is only going to go up. Whatever they've reportedly got him on this year, in 12 months' time, in 24 months' time, I just think that value is only going to go higher up. And there'll be salary upgrades in the next 5 years because of how good he is. But to lock him in for this long and just keep everyone away, wonderful re-signing.
And I think probably would have heard a bit more about the figure if it was breaking the bank, you know?
Yes, you would.
You surely you hear a bit more. So it seems like they got him good value. I will say as well, you know, when Queensland, in the middle of the year where we were a bit down on fullbacks, like, granted, you wouldn't pick Iongi because it's his debut year, all that stuff, blah, blah. But if you were just looking at form fullbacks that could play for Queensland, mate, he was like second or third. He was close to first. That's how good he was going. And that was his first year. And I know it sounds crazy. Go, well, why would he be playing, you know, Origin? It's his first year. Blah, blah. I get all that, but I'm just saying, if you took the name out of it and you just looked at form only, he was like our second or third form fullback in the comp.
And you remember the way the Parramatta started this season, how poorly they were in those games. He was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, gun, absolute gun. And what if he can just work a little bit on the ball playing, which is natural as a young guy coming through. Like, he's got the running game, he's got the fitness, he's got the right attitude. Throw a bit of ball playing in there. And his ball playing is already pretty good, but if it gets even better, like, you're essentially got the full package, especially in the modern game that's a bit faster. Like, he's a fullback that suits the modern game, where it's almost like we're going a little bit back to the smaller fullback, which is good to see. But yeah, great signing from the Eels, and I just love, honestly, nearly everything coming out of the Eels I love. Even how they handle the Lomax situation, all that. Like, there isn't much that they've done wrong this year. There really isn't, in my opinion. Like, what have they really done wrong this year?
Yeah, well, the Lomax money's probably allowed them to extend him so quickly, right?
Yeah, and even just how they handle it. Like, they were at first like, no, you're going to stay, you're a key outside back. Then eventually they didn't do the silly thing of like, nah, we're digging our heels in, there's going to be headlines all year long, and then we got to release him anyway. They made a smart call and said, you know what, we've got a season of rugby league to focus here on. We're not going to be able to keep him. He doesn't want to stay. All right, let's just part ways, get it out of the system. We've got money to go into 27 at least, kind of thing. So I think they've been handled. So that's an administration, as I've always said quite a few times, but quite critical after the grand final with their recruit retention. But ever since bringing Riles in, I think the administration of the Eels deserve a massive credit. I think they've been outstanding.
Haven't missed a beat since about round 4 onwards.
Pretty much.
Actually, they didn't even then. They nailed it all.
Okay, on to the next topic. The Vegas jerseys, boys. What do you reckon? Who won the Vegas battle?
I haven't seen too. We've got them just here on the screen in front. So the Dragons one, I like that little bit of detailing there. Got a bit of casino. So
for the listeners, the Dragons one is essentially normal, but it's got all these little pieces like poker chips, cards, some dice. Look, I think that I love the fact that the clubs are bringing out unique jerseys for Vegas because it's such a unique thing. Like, I think it's good to be able to say, like, this was the year we went to Las Vegas. I went to watch the boys, or I didn't even go. I think the Dragons are good. I think the names on the back has been outstanding from the doggies. Cowboys solid. I probably third or fourth in regards to the jersey style, but I don't hate it. What do you reckon?
Dragons is elite, most importantly, and they'd have been, if they didn't have the red V there, don't even bother going over. So thankfully they kept the red V. It's brilliant and just subtle touches, but different enough. Cowboys is pretty rank.
They've lent into the Dallas Cowboys colours, haven't they? That's what they got. Just the
star.
They've taken the yellow off.
Yeah, that's the weird.
They've just gone.
That's the weird partial star over the Cowboys logo. Now I don't rate it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't love it. I don't mind it. I'm in the middle. I love the collar. I'm a big collar man.
Collars.
Yeah, collars are good.
Big collar man.
Yeah, they should have just kept their own. I would have liked to see a bit of yellow in there too, especially given there's another team wearing just blue and white over there.
Well, I reckon I would have gone the reverse. I would have gone blue jerseys with the white. Flipped it. Or maybe they can't. Maybe they can't because they're playing a dark jersey colour.
No, yeah, but I don't know. Like, the Dogs are already over there. They're blue and white.
True. Now, the Dogs, their changes are essentially the name on the back, I think. Do they have anything else?
I think that's it, yeah.
Can I say something that might be controversial? Like, what's the hype about the names on the jerseys? Like, why do people care so much about that?
Well, I think it's so you can buy your favourite player's jersey that they wear, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but not all of them do, but if they change position or, I don't know, come off the bench, like.
I think it also simplifies things a little bit for the casual rugby league viewer who's watching. Like, we're nerds, we study and analyse this shit, but there'd be a lot of players out that people don't know, and they can go, that number 4's been good. Like, who's this guy? And that, like, you just know every player. It's a good way of growing brand name, like player names. And all that. I
Rep footy, I kind of like it because there's so few of them. But like, if you've got you have a look at a team might use 40 players through the year. If they're changing, number every couple of weeks, how do you?
No, so if it was to happen, you'd have your number for the entire season.
It's like Super League, so you'd have like a number 31.
Yes, pretty much.
But that makes it harder to watch because you're like, who's playing where and stuff. I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird because we have the numbers for positions. Look, I understand from growing up playing soccer, like, the number 9 was your man. Like, he's the guy that you follow or whatever. I get your thing with it though. Like, if you've got a bunch of different players in it, like, that's not his jersey. Like, for example, the 10, that's Thompson's jersey. And if he has someone else comes in and wears it and they've got a different name on it, it's like defeats the purpose to a degree.
Or like he's out injured or playing rep footy and you get some guy wearing number 24 in and then he's the prop, and I feel like that makes it harder to follow as a casual.
Yeah, I like names on the jerseys, like, to an extent, but I like the numbers 1 to 17 far more.
I like the numbers 1 to 17 far better too. Like, I remember that World Cup?
Oh,
bro.
Yeah.
That was so bad. Like, it made the viewing experience, like, not good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who had the ball.
Yeah, but that's what you'd be getting if it was this approach.
As in, like, you kept the names in order.
I would rather have no names for club footy and just like know what position's playing where and work it out. I like it in rep footy again because they just they can obviously update them from origin to origin.
Yeah, like it'd be a nightmare having to get new jerseys made every week around what the team sheet is that half the time you won't even know until Friday anyway. Yeah.
Man, I remember at the Broncos, I think we used to get like new socks and new shorts every week and jerseys maybe as well. When we were with Nike, it was
like
so
David Beckham always he throws out his socks after he wears them.
Like it was psycho. We used to get, and then they changed it to you got to take it home and wash it, I think. But yeah, back in the day, you'd rock up, it'd just all be there for you. They changed it. I think in 2010 or something like. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's at least what I recall. Is that you basically had a freaking a new kid every single game. It was fucking mad.
I don't think the Knights have released theirs yet. I had a look, but.
Oh, okay, the Knights. Okay, so Dylan Brown arrives at the Knights, boys. It's weird. I've got like conflicting emotions of it because like when I see him in the jersey, I go, hell yeah, let's go. Like this is going to be mad. And then I think about a 10-year deal or an 8-year deal or 2-year option. I'm like, oh shit, like they haven't really worked out that well. Thoughts, boys?
He'll hit the ground running, mate. He'll make a mocker of his price tag, and they should have paid him more. The Knights, it's a new era of the Newcastle Knights, and he leads them to the promised land.
Oh, you're on board? Okay.
I'm just, I want to believe.
Yeah, I want to believe too.
Did it go well?
I want to believe.
Me too. I want to believe it as well. And we saw what he can do when he's on the back of a great forward pack in the pack champs. It's just, have the Knights got one of them just yet? Maybe not, but I want to see him go well. But he'll need that to unlock his game. So, yeah, maybe that's the next step for the Knights.
Oh, man, I want to have hope. And the problem is with these 8-year deals is like they can have one good year, but then everyone just goes, yeah, we'll see how he goes next year. And then the pessimist just keeps saying, we'll see how he goes next year. And then at 1 year, they're going to have a down year. It's like the argument with the Taumalolo, and I understand that it's still a bit of a vague question, but, you know, there are some people that go, no, those first 5 years were gun, so it was worth it. And there's other people who go, yeah, but right now it's not really working. They can't afford to bring someone else in. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's a tough combo. I don't. 8 years plus 2 in your favour. Oh, yeah. But seeing him in the jersey, I get excited as a Knights fan.
I think he's going to play excellent football. It's just every bad game he has, or like slightly underwhelming game, every article's just going to be referred to the price tag, and he didn't live up to it this game.
It's like when Benny Hunt went to the Dragons. That was horrendous. Yeah. Like, he was playing fine. Like, he was playing okay, but he was on like $1.2 million or something. So he just got hammered.
Price tag.
Same as Fafita. Like David Fafita at the Titans.
He'll play good footy, Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
But will he be that good? Probably not.
No. I want to have hope. He comes out, he rips. Because, like, I want the Knights to do well, man. I want them to do so well. It does look good. The fresh start looks good with the new coach, Holbrook. Looks like you can't really tell that much. But once you see it in action, you know, if you had any reservations about the decision to go with Holbrook, I actually go, you know what? I think they did need a fresh start. Like, I'm trying to imagine a world where they were going into another preseason with Adam O'Brien as a coach.
Yeah.
And it's not even whether he can coach or can't coach. I think it was just more along the lines of like, they just look like a club that needed a fresh start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit like the Eels, to be honest.
Absolutely, they did.
Like they fresh start. Did you guys get a chance to see Brad Arthur's interview with Chamis while he was over in England?
No.
It was actually quite good. It was quite good. I mean, Brad Arthur, the way he has handled this whole situation has been so class. And he even kind of admitted, he said, maybe it was probably time, just not even about the coaching, it was just about fresh starts. Because, I look at the Knights and I go, there's going to be more energy, all that good stuff. Okay, just quickly, boys. Ricky Ponting, he's come out. He has doubled down on the champ chat with Archer.
So good.
Okay, so Ponting said he just embarrassed himself and his team the other night. To bowl his fastest spell ever in Test cricket, when Australia are chasing 60 day 3, when they needed him to do it, he rocks up with his pillow under his arm. There haven't been many games that I've commentated where I wish I was back playing again, but I wish I was out there the other night.
Yeah. If he was under that short ball that he got that Steve Smith hit for 6, punter would have pulled that, the ball would still be going up.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute boss. I don't think I've ever slightly disagreed with a thing that Ricky Ponting has ever said. I just love the bloke, and he doesn't miss. Like, he's spot on.
Mate, it's crazy it was before these comments. I think it's knowing that he had said champ in the commentary. I went and watched his highlights, his 2005 heroics or whatever. Mate, his footwork at the crease, like I'm like, has things changed or am I just watching greatness? I messaged obviously Matty. I was like, was he known for his footwork? It was like the bowlers were bowling in slow-mo.
Yeah.
The time that he would give himself, watch the ball come to him, take a step back, is it like, because I haven't watched Ponting play that much cricket. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
The best pull shot in cricket history. And will be forever.
I just, like, most blokes are sitting there, and maybe, bowling has improved drastically, but, like, most blokes they look like they've got no time.
Bowling hasn't improved drastically.
Yeah. Whereas, like, Ponting looked like he has, like, kind of like Joey to a degree.
There's a story of him down in Hobart. Hammy will know it word for word, but, yeah, what was he, like 14 years old or something? They put the bowling machine up to 150 clicks or something, and he was just getting on the back foot and just going whack, whack, and they were just sitting there going, like, this is unheard of.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He's going. Great vision. I think 7 Cricket put a clip up of him in the commentary box watching that 2 to 3 ball passage unfold. And he looks like he wants to just like burst out of the commentary box and just whack the pads on and get out there and give it to Jofra. So good. Finchy just puts his microphone down. Aaron Finch just sits there and lets him go. But it's awesome stuff.
Oh man, it's great. It's good to see our old legends' eyes rolling in the back of their heads, ready to rumble. It's good stuff. It's great stuff. Okay. Anything else? Look, Jai Pattaya gets a win over Cinco. Anyway, gets a win. Bit of a scare. This is a couple of weeks ago. Bit of a scare, but he ends up flatlining him in round 8, and I think he ended up being in hospital for quite a while. His opponent. Yeah, look, I think with Jai, like, I'm almost getting to the point where, like, a lot of people think he's just this dog that goes in and knocks people out. Like, he's just got so much dog in him. All he wants is the engagement. He wants to sit in the pocket, and not sit in the pocket because he doesn't, but, like, he just wants to engage. Whereas I think people don't realise, like, he is technically an unbelievable boxer. And I feel like when he's fighting guys that are just not on his level, like, he just goes out there and he wants to get in a war. Like, he loves it too much. He loves it. I just want with Jai, and he came out and he said he was super disappointed with his performance. I would just love him just to be a little bit more patient. Now, granted, I know because he got a bit of a scare in the second round, got stung, got buzzed. He stayed on his feet, but got buzzed and definitely a scare. I just want him to just go in and just box a little bit more. And I know that he will do that against a top tier, but sometimes you're so used to fighting people you're above that you just get into the normal mode of doing it. I'd love him just to be a little bit more patient. It's easy to say, like, with everything that went on leading up to that fight, he lost someone passed away in his corner, which is, devastating and been a huge part of his journey. Only a few weeks before the fight, but yeah, with Jai, I would just love to see him just build into the fight, slowly pick his shots, because technically he's one of the youngest ever Olympians to box for their country. 16 years old he was.
Mental. Like,
he is an absolute technician when he wants to be. And so, yeah, that happened a couple of weeks ago. Can't wait to see what happens next for Jai. Can't wait. Alrighty, it's time for some Ashes chat. And we've got a brand new member, Benny Horn. How you going, mate?
Good, thanks, Tannen. Good to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Mate, thanks for coming in. Now, obviously the Ashes start Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Mate, what's the feeling like? What's the, leading into this, we can all agree, desperate times for England, Australia. I think a lot of the yarn has been focused on probably England. But what's, quite strange is there's actually quite a lot of questions around Australia too, heading into potentially a 3-0 lead or, I guess, wrapping up of the series. Mate, what's the feeling like leading into this?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, usually when you're 2-0 up in the series, there's not really too many changes being considered, but Australia could have 3 changes potentially for this test, which is incredible after the scale of the victory in Brisbane. Look, Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon are, the 2 guys that we expect to come back into the attack. That's massive for Australia, particularly with Pat Cummins. That was England's chance to win a test or 2 when Pat wasn't there. Now he's back. The job just gets even harder. And the selectors have guaranteed Nathan Lyon his place back for the Adelaide Test. Conditions that definitely suit him. One of his favourite grounds to play in. I suppose still a bit of uncertainty as to who will make way for those 2. I'd say Brendan Doggett's probably going to miss out. I think he did a very solid job for Australia in the first 2 tests, but I think Cummins comes back for him. And then Michael Neser, 5 wickets in Brisbane. I'd say he's probably the most likely to miss out for Nathan Lyon, but you wouldn't completely rule out Neser staying and Scott Boland getting a rest as well if they think that Nisa can do a good job up with the keeper up to the stumps in Adelaide. So
is a Boland rest more? Would that be more based around like Boland's our, in our best order without Hazelwood, obviously. Yeah. Is it more around like let's just keep him fresh for we're 2-0 up? If the test was on the line, do you think they'd rest Boland?
Yeah, and look, I expect Boland to play because I think they, Andrew McDonald, the coach, said at the start of the week we're just going to go all out to try and win this test. So I would expect him to play. If he didn't play, it would be, I think, a strategic decision because the gaps between tests 3, 4 and 5 are pretty tight. Okay. So, and Scott Boland at the MCG, obviously he's got this amazing record. Yeah. So I think, that would be the reason to freshen him up for Melbourne. But I think Australia's mentality probably is we're just going for the win here and to wrap up the series. So I would expect Boland to play. The big talking point is Usman Khawaja. He's fit now. He's back from injury. So it really is just a straight out selection decision now. Does he come back into the order or do they stick with Travis Head as an opener and Josh Inglis in the middle order? Yeah.
Now, little birdie told me he might actually be down for a game of golf in Adelaide, legitimately. I've got a mate who's his old man's a member of the club there, and he was named to have a hit, I think, today ahead of the game. So he must be fit if the back's good enough to play a bit of golf.
Yeah, I mean that would surprise me if he was doing that, given all the attention that's been. But Usman has maintained that the golf had nothing to do with the back injury, and look, it is something that the players do routinely do before matches. I have felt a little sorry for Usman in the sense that I guess because he was the one who came away with the injury at the start of that test, that he's sort of been the face of all that. But I mean, really, the majority of the Australian team, coaches, selectors, they've all been in on the golf thing. So it's not Usman going out on his own and playing golf. But yeah, look, I it's a tough one as to whether he comes back in. I think I can see why he would. At the start of the series, he was seen as one of Australia's top 6 batsmen, and he's only really had one innings since then. But it's hard when, I suppose, the results kind of move on without you, and Travis Head's done a real job at the top there in terms of that.
Actually opened well that's the first time we've opened well in years, isn't it?
Yeah, just that positive.
And Weatherald and Head look like they actually work really well together. Like they build a combination, and that's coming from a guy who obviously doesn't know that much about cricket, but they look comfortable together.
Yeah.
They look like they're setting the game up. Whereas I've been watching our openers for the last 2 years, we've been getting, like, you're nervous every time they walk out. Yeah. Whereas I don't feel that as much with Weatherald and Head.
Yeah, look, I think... Usman, since he came back in the team 4 years ago, has been unbelievable. I mean, he's been the best opener in world cricket. Like, the last 12 months have been a struggle for him. But, for the majority of the time in the team, we need to remember that he actually has played an amazing role. I mean, opening is the toughest position in cricket these days. Like, batting's just become much harder most places in the world. But, yeah, I think the big question for the selectors is they have to ask themselves, do we see Travis Head as the long-term opener? And if the answer's no, then, I think you have to give serious consideration to bringing Usman back and just putting Travis back to his normal spot. But it's just whether they think, specifically against England, the matchup against England, whether Travis Head, as you say, is the man just to show that positive intent and get the scoreboard ticking, because certainly it's made a difference for Marnus, Labuschagne, Steve Smith coming in after to have that platform that's been set.
Yeah. Man, it's a tough one because I understand the argument of, look at all he's done. But, like, in my opinion, this is professional sport. You could have done a lot, but for 12 months outside of Sri Lanka, was it? The 200 runs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Head's 2 opening partnerships have been better than anything Uzi's done in a year, at least to my understanding. Correct? Wrong?
Yeah. I think that, outside of Sri Lanka, that's probably right. I mean, Usman has really struggled against fast bowling. So when Bumrah was here last summer, struggled against Kagiso Rabada, South Africa, in the World Test Championship final, struggled. And then in the West Indies, where all the batsmen struggled on tricky pitches. Yep. But, it's the fast bowling. I mean, the fact that a fair bit of gas has been taken out of England's fast bowling definitely helps him. I mean, Mark Wood's gone home. A couple of these other guys have really struggled to aim up, and Jofra Archer, the pressure's on him to.
Well, he'll probably come out firing. You'd have to assume.
Has to. Yeah, has to. But look, I don't think Australia will be making the decision for sentimental reasons or for what Usman's done in the past. It has to be on what they think he can contribute for the rest of this series. And they have, in dropping Nathan Lyon in the first test and a few other examples recently. Yeah, I don't think Usman's getting recalled unless they feel that, there's more runs coming from him than, say, Josh Inglis.
Ironically, is he one of the most under pressure players heading into this third test at Usman? Like, I know he wouldn't because he's already had such an incredible career, done so much. But if he gets done for 5 or something like that, well, that's it, surely? Not surely, but you'd have to assume that would be it.
Yeah, I mean, look, in one sense, there's so much pressure on him, but in another sense, there's not. Because I think if he got returned to the team and failed in Adelaide, particularly if Australia didn't win the test, then it probably is all over for him.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of brings a freedom in a sense that, it really is last chance.
Yeah,
okay. And look, I think he would handle that side of it quite well. I mean, he's very strong mentally. He's been through a lot in his career. He's been dropped a lot of times, and that's the benefit of having a guy with his experience in the team.
Yeah.
He's been through it all. So, look, to me, the worry is more just Usman's game technically. Is it still where it needs to be against fast bowling at Test cricket? Mentally, I wouldn't be too worried about how he'll go.
What about his fielding?
Yeah, look, it's a funny one in cricket. Certainly they looked a lot sharper in Brisbane with Josh Inglis in the team, Michael Neser in the team as well, good fielder. But it's funny in cricket. I mean, batting skill, ideally, obviously, you want great fieldsmen, but the skills of being an opening batsman, I guess, just far outweigh any deficiencies he has in the field. So, I don't think that would be a huge factor at the end of the day. But
even though they
certainly look sharp in Brisbane.
You could argue fielding won us the last test, at least by a lot of wickets rather than 3 or 4 wickets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, and I think, it's whether it's this test or it's after this series, it's inevitable that Australia is going to have a bit of a transition here.
Yep.
And, it was, Inglis's contribution there in the field was incredible, particularly because he's a keeper. He's not necessarily someone that you'd be expecting to be herring around in the infield, pulling off something like that. But, definitely. That's Australia is an older team. I mean, the majority of the side are in their mid-30s. So, at some point they are gonna need to freshen things up. And
what about? I'll actually get your boys' thoughts first about Usman potentially coming in at 1, and then I would love to talk about can he be mid-order? Could he be 4 or 5?
I don't know about the. I think I get the sense if he can prove he's fit, I feel like they might give him the chance to come back in and open. I can't see the value of throwing him into the middle order and. There's probably other guys that are better suited to that role at the moment, and you do have to kind of move forward. I don't know that he'd be the best option to go in like number 5 or whatever right now. He's either an opener, I'd say, or not in there.
So are you not a big believer? Because there's an argument of, well, just pick your best 6 batters. Like, best 6 batters, he's in the top 6, so therefore he has to be there. At least that's not my argument. That's something that I've seen online.
Yeah. I just think if he's coming back in, it'd be to open. I'm sure, like Travis said, I'd have no qualms going back to bat at number 5 at Adelaide, where he's had so much success. He's got 3 or 4 Test centuries batting in that spot at that ground. So, I suppose it's another question for him. Like, does he see himself as a long-term opener? Does he want to stay at the top of the order as well? But I reckon if Usman's fit, every chance they give him a go. Like, I feel like that's the kind of the Andrew McDonald, George Bailey style. They're pretty, pretty pick and stick generally with the kind of people that they've got. So if they pick him for the first test, what's really changed apart from an injury between now and then? But I don't think, I personally can't see him coming in and batting at 5.
Yeah, if Usman plays, he'll open the bat. There's no way I'd be dropping him to 5.
Okay.
In terms of what they're going to do, I'm very unsure. It's a very tough decision for them to make. I just, you got to remember, it's only 1 test ago that with Travis Head, they didn't want to move him from number 5, despite him sort of saying he was, very open and willing to go up and bat at the top of the order because they were so happy with his role and his job in the team as a number 5. So, look, there's every chance Usman does come back in at 5, Josh Inglis drops out. But I don't know. I feel for Usman, but as you sort of talking about it, Kempy, but the balance of head and weather order just works. They'll be confident coming off runs.
Weather looks comfortable super
Very
comfortable.
Good. Like, so he's obviously not going anywhere. So,
But as in, like, I feel like Weatherald, it seems to be reacting quite strongly to having Travis Head out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the way, like, you go look at his first out, he looked, and granted it's his debut, so maybe that's the reason. I'm not blaming him. But you look at his first out, he was, like, genuinely under the pump, nervous. Then ever since Head's gotten in there to a degree, like, it does seem like he's really strong in his posture. Look, does he do deep squats every time he's batting? Yes, he does. His ball's nearly touching the ground. But yeah, I don't know. That's just looking at it from a sporting perspective.
The thing is, Kempy, and like the benefit of having an aggressive opener like David Warner was able to do for Australia for many years, it takes so much pressure off the bloke next to you because you don't have two tied down openers who are struggling to get off the square, and the pressure of dot balls builds and maiden overs builds. Because you can be going as slow as you want. Not that Jake Weatherald does, because he's a pretty aggressive batsman himself. But when you've got Travis Head on the up the other end and the runs are flowing, you just go, get yourself in. If it takes 50 balls and no runs, mate, the scoreboard's still ticking over. So it's vital. And that's why I just think Travis Head at the top works right now.
Okay, so you'd go Travis Head?
I think I would, yeah.
Look, again, my opinion literally holds no weight. I'll be going Travis Head. Like, you know, both times he's opened, he's been great. Like, why change that now when you're 2-0 up in a series? And if I'm being honest, like, I know people say that, you know, he's not getting picked on sentimental value. Like, I understand that, but I just think if his name wasn't Usman, he wouldn't be getting selected. I think it's because he's been great that he's been giving more of an opportunity. Whereas you look at the last 12 months, like, if you just took away his name, you looked at the last 12 months, has he been batting good enough to keep out a guy that's just come in and started batting well? Me personally, I don't think so, but I don't know shit about cricket. So.
And if it was any other competitors in the world in this summer in Australia, give or take maybe India, obviously the 2-game buffer helps and the two test margin that we've already got on the English. But when you're playing England, I just want the best team that we can have to go out there and seal this series and not give the Poms any chance. And then I want to go in and turn 3-0 into 5-0. And is Usman the best man to do that? Look, maybe he is. And I'm not against picking Usman at the top and dropping Chavi Head down at all. But I think our best team on form at the moment is probably Uzi out, Travis up top.
Yeah, look, I think the injury is what's going to hurt Usman in the end. I mean, I think if he was fit for Brisbane, I sensed that maybe they might have brought him back and pushed Travis Head back to 5. But now that there's just been that game in between, it's very hard to kind of reverse the situation, you know. Okay. And even though Travis's big runs came in the first test, as you say, he's still, with Weatherald as a combination, was able to get Australia off to the start that they needed in Brisbane. And so it makes it very hard now, I think, for the selectors to go back. I think that having that test in Brisbane where he was unavailable to play, I think makes it hard for Usman.
Uzi, if he would have played in Brizzy for Weatherald after Weatherald's first test. But like, since Weatherald, to your point, Benny, having come in and hit 90 odd runs and dismissed once in that test, like, you know, you can't drop him. So
it looks great. Looks really good. It's funny how much a Travis Head nick, if that gets caught and he doesn't go and put 20 runs on in like 10 balls or whatever after it, we're probably going, was he straight back in? You know, Travis had his 100, you know, opening or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like Travis's aggressive nature suits Weatherald more than. We haven't seen that much, but yeah, that's the feeling I got anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Weatherald's, you know, struggle in Perth was down to, like, England bowled unbelievably well in the first innings in Perth, and they haven't been able to replicate it since. But a lot of that is what Travis was able to do in the second innings in Perth. Like, he just went and changed the entire, you know, mood of the game, the whole mood of the whole series. So, you know, Travis definitely, same as David Warner when he was doing that role, just takes pressure off everyone else. Like, if they come off, everyone else gets an easier run. Yeah. And so there's no question that selectors love that David Warner style player at the top of the order. It's just whether they feel that they're weakening another area to strengthen the opening, because Head has been so good at number 5.
Well, I remember I messaged Matty when I'm trying to think who was walking out, and I was like, geez, I wish Travis Head was walking out right now. We lost a few wickets quite quickly in the first innings, maybe. Yeah, because it was Stark and it was Carey that saved us in the end. Yeah. I was going, oh man, I wish Travis Head was walking out right now to save us again, like he has the last few years. So look, my personal opinion, I'd go with Head, but however, I'm not against Uzi. Like, if Uzi comes out and hits 50, will any of us be surprised? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. We know how good the guy is. I just think from a teaming perspective, it just seems like that Weatherald Head combination. Okay, here's a good question. Who do you reckon the bowlers fear more? Head, Weatherall together, or Uzi, Weatherall together right now?
Head.
It looks like to me that England would way rather bowl at Uzi, Weatherall than Head, Weatherall. Is that a fair statement or wrong?
I mean, right now, yes, but as you said, it's a fickle game.
Yeah.
You know, if they pick Uzi and he comes out and hits a slow 50 or 60 and Travie Head's next to him, Jake Weatherall's next to him and they're aggressing, like, things change very
And also,
quickly.
like, you could make an argument Usman's style of batting is what we want to slow the game down to make them fatigued because they're not that fit, their bowlers.
Well, I spoke before about, like, having an aggressive opener to take pressure off their opening partner. I said Jake Weatherall is an aggressive opener, so him and Uzi can work together.
Yeah.
Like, and Uzi can afford to be a bit more, like, slow the run rate down and take his time to get into the innings because I said Jake Weatherall is also an aggressive opening bat.
And it's a flat deck, so is that better for long style games or fast? Because doesn't that suit England more, that aggressive style, get runs quickly?
The flat deck will suit. Well, I mean, it'll help England.
I mean, England would have loved Adelaide to be the first test. Put it that way.
Okay.
I mean, this would have been the perfect.
Who does that suit better,
from the
Travis
start.
or Uzi? That style of deck.
It's a good question. I mean, it's probably hard to say because I mean, if the pitch is flatter, it should be good for all the batsmen really. Like Travis Head has been incredible in Adelaide in that 5 role of just coming out and almost just taking the game away from the opposition. He can't do that as much if you're opening the batting because when you're opening, you can just get a great ball. I mean, it's a different. That's why opening is so hard.
Yeah.
But so look, I don't think the conditions necessarily will impact on the decision.
Yep.
I think it's more, as you say, which combination is going to work the best, and if they look down the track a bit, who do they see as a long-term opening option for Australia? Okay. I think there's a lot of pressure on Josh Inglis, because if he does play, I think the load's almost on him to sort of show that he can do that Travis Head role.
Yeah, okay.
In the middle order.
Makes sense. Okay. I will say in a like a perfect world, I would love Uzi to come out, hit 100, kill the rest of the test, hang the gloves up or whatever you call it, the bat up. What do you hang up in cricket? Your undies? What? Jock straps? your cup? Hang your cup up?
Box.
Box?
Hang the box up.
Leave the box out.
I'd love for that to happen. I don't know. The Head Weatherall combination, like there's a bit about it. I like it. It's sexy,
Yeah, I get it. And look, I think with Usman, it's as you say, like you have to pick teams based on who you think's going to do the best job, not on who's done the job.
Yeah.
But I think in the last couple of weeks, there has been Usman's contribution over the last 4 years. I think has been diminished. Has been underappreciated. Is what I'm trying to say. I think. Opening the batting has got harder in recent times.
Yeah.
With
It's
the
not like
pitches.
it's just an Australian problem. It's a problem probably a bit wider in cricket.
And he has, with the exception of the last 12 months, he's really aimed up. And I mean,
the last time he nearly got dropped, he banged out 100, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and he's gone like when he got recalled 4 years ago. He'd had a good Test career, decent Test career. I mean, he's now he's gone up a level in terms of how he'll be remembered and where his record sits amongst the players who have played for Australia in the past. So he really has elevated himself into a very good, if not great player.
And he's also, I think since he's gone up to open, purely an opener, he's averaged more, far more than his overall career average. He's almost averaged 50 or might even just be 50 as an opener, which is very, very tough to do at Test level. He's been a great servant of the team and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But be interesting to see what they do. I get the sense if he's fit, I feel like just the way the selectors have kind of gone in the past and whatever, I get the sense maybe they'll give him a crack. But
look, I hope he comes out and kills it. I hope he comes out and kills it. We have a fairy tale send off for the gut. He's absolute gun cricketer. Do you think that it's going to be a case of, let's say he does come out and kill it, him going, okay, time to call it day? Or do you think Usman will just go until he kind of gets not selected?
If he gets an opportunity and plays, it won't be after this test.
Yeah.
But it's basically, I can't see how Usman can go past the Sydney Test. I mean, he'll be 39, and I guess we've seen these signs now of guys coming through, and there are a few other options around. So I think whether it's Usman making that decision or it's the selectors having a chat to him, I think this is his last series.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully he comes and kills it because, mate, he's been unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I was keen to get your thoughts, Benny, on the England team as well. You know, obviously there's been they've all really underperformed. There's been a bit of chat. You know, Bethel's been around the squad, going okay. Still hasn't got. He might have one first class ton or whatever it is now, but you know, still.
Yeah, I think 0 still, but
still 0. Jury's out on him, but there's been a bit of chat he might come in for Ollie Pope, and then with the bowlers as well. I mean, you know, they've underperformed a little bit as well. Do you sense that there might be a few selection changes for them, or?
Well, McCullum, interestingly, the coach Brendan McCullum's already confirmed that the top 7 will remain the same, so they're backing in the batsmen.
Yep.
So, yeah, bowling-wise is really the only place where things could change. And, you know, Mark Wood's off the table now. He's gone home. So, yeah, look, there could be a change there. Maybe Bryden Cass, who copped a bit of flack in Brisbane.
Yep.
You know, there's Josh Tongue, who hasn't played a test yet. You know,
Cass was poor. Like,
yeah.
He was so poor in Brisbane.
Yeah. And just just looking at him, I don't know how he picks himself back up. You know, some guys, they can respond. And I think, as you touched on before, I think Jofra Archer will come out breathing a bit of fire.
Yeah, for sure.
At the start of this test. They've got a spinner as well, Bashir, who hasn't played yet. Whether or not they look at him, but I actually thought Will Jacks, as the part-time spinner, all-rounder, did a good job. I mean, he, along with Ben Stokes, he showed the most intent really with the bat when the game was on the line there. So, yeah, I think probably only one change max. I reckon Bryden Cass under a bit of pressure.
And do you see them? Do they just triple down on the whole? We're playing the brand of cricket that we're known for, or do they adjust a little bit? Given that probably as soon as they did, Jackson Stokes batted a session out. That's probably what put the most pressure on the Aussies that we've seen, not the aggressive Bazball sort of like.
Yeah.
Can they back down from that? They've come out here with it. They've been building for 4 years, and then obviously they had one session where they bunkered down. Do they now defer to that, or do they keep going with the method?
I think overall they've just got to keep going with the same method, because I think trying to tinker with it on the run just doesn't seem to be working that well.
Yep.
I think they need to play smarter cricket for sure. But I think they've just got to go down with the ship now. I think they've just got to
made their bed.
They've just got to go for it, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, the week off in Noosa, they've already caught plenty for that. But
which one?
Can you imagine if it's? Can you imagine if they lose this test? I mean, that whole
straight back up there.
Few days is going to be analysed even further. So, the coach Brendan McCullum is under huge pressure. I mean, he's the sort of character I don't think he'd necessarily be feeling it that much. But if this, goes up in flames, 5-0 series or something like that, then, he might be struggling to stay on.
Him and Stokes, I know they've just extended them both until 2027 or whatever it is, but if it's a 5-0, are they both?
Yeah, well, in regards to Stokes, I mean, I can't see a better option to captain that team.
Yeah.
So, and he's not the problem. He's got it.
Do you? I don't know if I fully agree with that. Like, so who? Okay, actually, you know what? I'll get my decision after this information. Who is making the decision to go down with this ship? To go all guns blazing? We were told by all the legends in the game, by everyone that knew anything about cricket, when you go to Australia, it's great for flat decks in England, but when you come to Australia, you're going to have to just tweak it a little bit. Like, Bazball's a captain. He's got to take some responsibility for that. And I'm not saying he's not, but I just feel like it's great that he's a gambler and he's willing to put it all on the line, but surely there's got to be some kind of, mate, that leadership needs to come back a bit. And the reason why I say that, I could almost cut him a bit of slack if he came out and didn't bat the way he did in that last session or the night and the day. I could be like, okay, like it's a team plan. We're all on board. We do it together. He came out and played not conservative cricket, but like I think it was his second slowest 50 or whatever, or close to 50 since he did the same job all those years ago. So it's kind of like, so that's that style of play, and you're really good at it, but you're choosing not to play it. That's where I get a bit like, I don't know.
Look, the whole thing is confusing, and it's like basically the where this all started was after the last time they came here for the Ashes, and they were woeful, and they were just like without hope, basically.
Yeah.
And so Brendan
And they
McCullum,
went through years where they were playing defensive conservative cricket, getting towed up every single week. Yeah,
exactly. And players didn't have confidence. They didn't have an identity as a team. And so I give Brendan McCullum huge credit because, coaches in cricket come and they go and they move around. It's hard to, not many kind of make what you would say like an actual difference and leaving a mark. And McCullum has done that, even though things are going south now. He came in and he just set up this blueprint of, right, this is how we're going to play. Players brought into it. Ben Stokes made it possible because of his ability and his aggressive attitude to the game.
Player, incredible player.
And there's definitely been some casualties. I mean, there's guys who are decent cricketers in England who have not been considered to play for England because they can't play this style.
Yeah.
But on the other side, there's players who are probably of middling ability who this style has kind of brought them out of their shell and they've brought into it and it's worked. It's just the problem with baseball is the subtleties around playing the situation, playing the moment. That hasn't happened. It's too black and white. It needs more of the grey in between to kind of play certain situations smarter than others, know when to, release the handbrake and go for it. And that's where it's fallen apart. It's just they haven't been smart enough with how they've gone about it. And
do you think Stokes' last innings was a message in a sense? Like, do you think there's a world where Stokes doesn't agree with this all-out baseball, but he's just playing it because his coach says it, or is that not how cricket works?
I think it's more that he's realised that there's guys in the dressing room that just aren't up to it. I think it was more like his comment afterwards that the weak, there's no room for weak players in here. I think Stokes believes in the system more than anyone.
Okay, fair.
But I think he's realised that there's blokes in that dressing room that just aren't.
If he believes in it more than anyone, why did he play like that when the game was on the line?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, look, the baseball that started where it was just all out attack, declaring at crazy times and all that. To be fair, like in the last 12 months, they have scaled that back a bit.
Yeah,
It hasn't always been that one speed.
Okay.
And there's been other series where they have been able to manage it a lot better.
Because the first half of baseball, they killed it. It's just this second last, 12 to 24 months where they've had quite a few.
And against the opposition too. Like against Australia and India, it just hasn't, against the top teams. When they've played Pakistan, they've played New Zealand, they've been able to pull it off. But when it gets to the quality opposition, the fact that they lost that series against India this year was damning, really. I mean, they should have won that series, and that's a home series. So the writing was on the wall a little bit. I think a lot of the chat before this series was based on the fact that Australia didn't necessarily look that strong. Rather than England kind of being this tearaway, unstoppable force. I think it was more concerns about Australia's ageing team, how things were going to go. But, Australia's aimed up really well.
I just think that I think most people are in the same boat where, like, I don't think anyone's sitting here going, baseball was just the worst thing ever. There's nothing good to come from it. I think most people go, no, it's a style, you could say. Now, there's some argue that it's very similar to early 2000s Australian cricket, but let's just say, give it its due. It's a style of aggressive cricket. But I just think that surely you've got to evolve and adapt. And I think the one thing that the England haven't done is they haven't evolved quick enough because, of course, those first couple of years you're going to have a lot of success because people don't have systems in place to defend against that kind of aggressive style. But their inability to adapt, I just think it's one of their biggest weaknesses. Yeah. Are you a big believer that baseball has changed cricket? Obviously, the average run rate has increased, or is it T20 that's increased the average run rate, do you think?
Yeah, or just firstly, you're 100% right that Ben Stokes has to take a lot of responsibility, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I think baseball has changed Test cricket to a degree, but it just hasn't been a sustainable change. It kind of just blew up, and it was like, what's going on here? And to a certain degree, I think other teams have tried to mirror parts of it.
Yep.
The mindset of it, any team would love to tap into that mindset of just playing without fear, all that sort of thing. But it's what's been proven in this series is it's just not sustainable. Like there's a reason why Test cricket's been played for 140 years, and there's certain things that work.
Yeah,
you know, and so it hasn't reinvented things, because at the end of the day it's about winning, and baseball just hasn't been effective enough at actually winning games.
About 58%, I think it's at the moment.
Yeah, they started strong. They won like 14 of their first 15 or something, but since then it's really it's almost 50-50.
Thoughts on the baseball boys? Like, the whole situation. Is it dead? Is it half dead? Do we need to take the best? Like, what's the situation with baseball?
I think it's done, to be honest. It hasn't worked here. It was all building to, I don't know, bring an approach out here that might give them a different result. Obviously, they haven't won a test here in 15 years or whatever. So whatever they were doing in the past wasn't working. So this bold new thing was kind of cooked up to give them a chance. But, it hasn't worked. They do, I agree. I think they had to kind of just triple down on this method that they've cooked up. They can't back out of it now.
But do you think, like, just in regards to that idea of backing out of it, like, they looked, I wouldn't say outstanding, but Jackson and Stokes looked really good together.
Yeah.
Patient, had the control of the game.
They probably got it to that series in India, which they didn't, against India, which they didn't win. But they had the kind of the baseball with brains thing came in, where they were actually quite good at absorbing pressure for a little bit, like they did. And then picking their moments to go, all right, they're a bit tired now, maybe we see a little bit more of that style of it, but I still think there will be. Harry Brook will come out and dance down at blokes and all that.
Look, I mean, I think the situation now is that, and one thing that we didn't know coming in was, like, with Mark Wood and Jofra Archer, there was a lot of anticipation, like, wow, they might actually have the bowling attack to cause us some trouble here. But what we've seen now is they don't have the bowlers to beat Australia.
Like, their bowling has been super poor.
Yeah, and so the batting is, obviously they butchered that game in Perth. But to me now the issue is the bowling. I just can't see how they take the 20 wickets to win. So the kind of exactly what the batters do, that sort of cancels itself out in a way with Australia's batsmen. But Australia's bowling to me is just on another level.
Yeah, and there's depth there too, which is, but we've been missing the best too, and then we rested another one.
Yeah, baseball's been busted for a fair while, but like, I think they need to go down with the ship for the rest of this series. They need to continue to play. And the big thing is, mate, they've selected a touring squad around baseball with aggressive batsmen. And, if they threw baseball out the window and played more conservative cricket with their order, they probably selected different players and brought different people in the touring squad. So, but it can scale back, as you said. Like, some of the shot selections they've played and just going at wide balls and balls that there was no reason to play at early on in innings, like, it can scale back and still be aggressive. Like, the other bloke that we haven't mentioned yet, who else succeeded, like, Will Jacks got runs, Ben Stokes got runs, but Joe Root got his maiden century in Australia, and that was at a strike rate of 67, which 15 years ago would have been an extremely aggressive innings. Nowadays, especially in the baseball era for England, it's pretty conservative. It worked. So I think they need to scale it back. We sort of alluded to Adelaide Oval, it'll be a lot easier in theory to score runs. Baseball could work there. Taking the baseball approach into the Gabba day-night test with the pink swinging ball, with the form that Mitch Starc was in, it was never going to work. It was ridiculous. They could have some more success with it in Adelaide, but as I said, they just need to scale back a little bit.
Now, I hate to be too, alarmist, but has this done damage to their young guys coming through in regards to their development? We look at a guy, is it Brooks, the gun, the vice captain?
Yep.
Like, he is just, I will swing at nearly anything that comes my way. If he had to come through not conservative, but mid of the way Test cricket team, do we think we would be seeing one of the great batsmen develop? And it could already still be that, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like they've almost like brought the monster out in where he can't help himself, kind of.
Yeah, it's a massive reality check for him because, I mean, he's come into the series #1 batsman in the world, but but I suppose coming to Australia, playing against Australia is a test that he hadn't experienced before. Certainly, like, some of those guys have been really disappointing. Jamie Smith's the other one, the wicket keeper. There was comparisons to Adam Gilchrist being made before the series, and Alex Carey's just left him behind. In the kind
what a performance from Carey,
head-to-head comparison. But look, it is a concern because the fact that we're sitting here saying should they keep going with this approach or change, that's the indecision that I sense has sort of started to creep into their minds a bit, and that's when it gets hard. Like, when you're kind of halfway between two different ideas, and like their preparation just hasn't worked. I think that they've probably made a big mistake by not calling someone in like Michael Clark or an experienced Australian player to advise them on how to play on Australian pitches, because there's a way of being aggressive, but there's just certain shots that you just cannot play in Perth and Brisbane in particular early in the innings. And whether it's arrogance or they just haven't prepared properly, but England have just completely ignored that.
Yeah.
And it's just dumb. It's just dumb cricket. I mean, most teams around the world don't play a lot of practice games these days, so I can understand that side of it. But just in terms of talking about shot selection and how to play, it's like they haven't even given it any thought.
Now, just quickly on Jofra, what I will say is so the coach has come out and essentially defended him and said, if he didn't have a go, we'd be having a crack, and we was told to not mope and play aggressive. I don't think anyone's concerned with the bowling at the end there was him having a go. I think it was more the fact that if he doesn't sledge, Steve Smith, I don't think anything kind of comes of it. I think the concern was more like the game was done. I will say, however, and I'm the first to say I couldn't believe he was doing that towards the end of the game, similar to rugby league, like shooting out the line when you're 30-0 down or whatever. Like, why are you trying now? However, I will say it has kind of overshadowed how terrible their bowling has been. We're all focused on Jofra, who, although he's only got one wicket, has probably been one of their better bowlers outside of Stokes. Take him out. Outside of the other guys haven't done anything the whole time. Not even when the game wasn't on the line, they haven't done anything. Is that a fair statement, wrong statement? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100% right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree. And Steve Smith just won that battle so overwhelmingly. But at least maybe you would hope it's given England something to buy into for this test to just fire themselves up and have a. I don't know. Let's go out there and try and take these blokes
down.
One
of our boys has just been put on the international scene, getting champed, and everyone's laughing at him, and the pillow jokes and all that kind of stuff. When in reality, if I'm Stokes, I'm sitting there saying, "Hey boys, okay, Jofra shouldn't have carried, sledged or whatever." Obviously, you don't say that in front of the boys, but that's the underlying thoughts. But I'd be saying, "Hey, you fucking blokes, where were you the whole time? This guy's getting smashed everywhere, getting champed, getting sixed. Where have you been the whole set, the whole test?" That's what I'd be saying anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I think that's exactly spot on. Yeah, and it did sort of steal the attention a bit, didn't it? Just that battle. But yeah, it's a huge test for Archer because, he's only played before this series. He's only played 2 or 3 tests in the last couple of years. So for him to get through 3 tests in a row is probably more than what England were anticipating to put him through, I would say, at this stage of the series. So I expect he will come out firing like he did in Perth, but can he maintain it? If Australia keep them out there in the field and then coming back for the second innings, I'm just not sure how much Jofra's got left in the tank. And that's not an attitude thing. It's just physically, I just don't know how much more he's got left.
And the good thing for Jofra, it's only going to be 37 degrees on day 1 and day 2 as well. So...
Wow,
nice.
37. Is that what the expected?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. So Australia, although they'll also struggle in the heat, but they will be sitting there going, "This is our conditions right now. Hot, tough day at the office." I'm trying to think of anything else.
39 degrees.
Oh my
35, 39,
God.
33.
I guess just quickly in regards to the coach, kind of clarifying the comments about being over-prepared. So essentially what he was saying was the comment was made in the sense of not the amount of work we did, but rather we prepared to play a certain style. But with the pink ball, you've got to be able to adjust on the fly. At least this is what I took from it. And we didn't do that. We weren't we weren't prepared to adjust on the fly. Now, we spoke about this off air a little bit. I understand the coach has been in the back, wants the players to be in the forefront. I get that. And it is really good when they're winning. I would say, however, it's not like this is... Bazball has been under the pump for a couple of years now. And I just think that he probably needed to kind of look at the situation and go, my players have been in the forefront of the under the pump for a system that I put together. And granted, he has come a bit more forward this week, but I reckon it's a little bit too late coming forward now when it's essentially the ship is sunk. You're in the last hour of the Titanic sinking essentially. I reckon he probably, and I know it comes from a good place. He wants the players to be put out in front. But if you've got this system that's under the pump, I think that's when you need to step forward and take the criticism head on to a degree.
Yeah. And I think the issue with the comment that he made about over-preparing, fans just want to hear some concession from them that things haven't.
Not
gone
we
to
work
plan
too
yet.
hard. Don't say that.
Like it's just like I kind of get the confusion in what he was saying because I mean. Yeah, you would know this more than me imagining that I know, but like I can see how you could overtrain before a match, like that you're almost trying too hard or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean, I think they have overall prepared poorly for the series, but I can see what he was saying in regards to leading into that test. But yeah, I think it's just, and this has been an issue with Bazball the whole way along, and the reason why I think there's this residual build-up of animosity towards it is that there's just been a lack of there hasn't been a lot of grace about what they've done the last few years.
Not at all.
And a lot of arrogance and a lot of kind of never owning up to mistakes, and people just want to see a bit of that humility from their teams and things like that. So I think England have definitely made a rod for their own back in that sense, that they've been too arrogant and bullish about this approach and just without any concessions for a poor performance or a poor moment. I mean, people want to see that. People want to see you put your hand up and go, yeah, no, I got that wrong.
And just see that you care enough to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas it looks, with England, it looks like when they give this very blase is the wrong word, but there is this kind of, oh, well, if we had taken our catches, we would have won. Or if it's like, yeah, but you didn't, bro. So how about, I just think that the reason why he said that statement was because he had removed himself from the conversation so far. He couldn't read the room. Like, you can't read the room if you're not in it. He hasn't been in the room to read it for the last 2 years, in my opinion. And I just think that comment of like we overprepared, that comes from a bloke that, and I'm not saying they need to read every headline, but unfortunately that's a part of being a professional coach, in my opinion, is like understanding what is the environment, what is the lay of the land. And I just reckon if he was front and centre for the last couple of years where Bazball's been struggling, there's no way he makes that comment, in my opinion, because he would know it would be interpreted incorrectly.
Yeah. I'm with you. They're just kind of put themselves in this bubble where it's just like, get on board, drink the Kool-Aid and, keep the outside noise kind of out of there. But yeah, there's no way they could have been, like the fact that they were given one opportunity to play a pink ball game on this whole tour and they didn't play it. And then they came out and said they were over-prepared.
And also before it, Root came out and said he doesn't like pink ball.
Yeah.
I didn't like that comment.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was.
It's almost like you're setting yourself up for the excuse. Oh,
he
don't like pink ball.
He came out and made his first ton with a pink ball. So,
and they
still never made one with the red ball over here.
And also we're missing a couple of blokes too, so that doesn't really count.
That's right. Asterisk.
It's incredible. Thoughts, mate?
Nah, I think you summed up well, boys. Yeah. Nothing to add.
Sweet. Alrighty, mate. Thanks so much for joining us, mate. We really appreciate it, Ben. We'll probably see you in the new year.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you. Boom. Outside of that, boys, anything else going on with you, or all good?
No, off to the cricket, the Savo.
Off to cricket, off to Adelaide?
Off to Adelaide.
Mate, let's put our tips in.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so what it is,
Yeah, well, obviously the test match is coming up, kicking off on Wednesday. Aussies against England, of course, $1.46 for the Aussies, $3.30 for England, the draw. $10.50. Doesn't look like a hell of a lot of rain around. I think you could probably put a line through the draw. Love to just get, I'm assuming we're all going Australia, unless anyone
Australia
wants to surprise me. But yeah, top run scorer, first innings, top wicket taker, first innings would be fantastic.
I'm going to go Aussie.
You're going to go with Uzi?
I'm going to Uzi.
675.
I want to believe in the fairy tale. I want to believe he's done it before when he looked like he was down and out. He came out and I think it was 200s he hit. I'm going to believe in the fairy tale.
Yeah. All right. You are taking a bit of a bet there, a bit of a punt on whether he even gets picked. But
if he doesn't get picked, I'll go.
No, it's an all-in market, so 675.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Steve Smith last week, Jofra unleashed a beast that he's going to regret. So he'll be top scorer.
Yeah. $4 for Smith.
Yeah, I want to be different, but I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I like.
Well, you don't know cricket, both of you. But
I like your thinking there. I think Smith probably the way to go. But Travis Head back at home.
Clearly hate fairy tales.
Yeah, I love fairy tales. Travis Head at home.
No, Usman fairy tales.
Uzi could hit 150. Smith will hit 200.
Yeah, you don't get cricket. Just say you don't know cricket.
Smith might not get out this test match.
No.
Guys, just say you don't get cricket, all right? When he gets about 30, and when Uzi fucking smacks 200, you can come in and you can say sorry. You can apologise.
I hope I'm apologising.
I'd love for Uzi to get 200. That'd be sick.
He might get 300. Seriously, that's how bad these bowlers are.
All right, we can take a first innings as well.
I'm going to go Stark. Look, I know a lot of people are going to lead towards Cummins, but they don't get cricket. Stark to just absolutely obliterate the English batters.
295.
I'll go Captain Pat.
Yeah, 380.
Don't get it.
I will go Starkey.
Copycat.
295. 380. Pat Cummins for me as well. Big Bash. Obviously, you're a big Barts fan, Kempy. Hobart Hurricanes.
Yep.
They're the $4.
I forgot about that.
They're the $4.50 favourites alongside the Scorchers, same price. Sixers $5.50, Thunder $6.50, Strikers $8, Brisbane $8, and then the Renegades and the Stars are both $11 to win the tournament. Who do you guys like there?
Look, I'm going Queensland.
Yep. Heat.
But obviously still like the Barts as well, but
Barts.
Queensland, yeah.
Defend their title. All right, you got a bit of value. The Brisbane Heat $8.
Yeah, I was actually going to go the Brisbane Heat too. I just love their roster. But
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
different and
Copycat.
screw Queensland. They lost last night, but there'd be good value about the Sixers after a loss, surely.
Yeah, $5.50.
Still only $5.50.
Yeah.
I'll go them anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going Adelaide.
Adelaide Strikers.
Yep.
$8. I'm going to go with the Barts to go back to back.
The Barts to go back to back?
Yeah, I think so. I like their style. I like the way they go about it. Have you had a look at top run scorer, top wicket taker for the tournament? What do you got for me? Hit me.
Jason Behrendorff, top wicket taker. Matt Short, top run scorer.
All right, bear with me. So Matt Short for your runs, $12, and you had Jace Behrendorff,
That's a huge price for a bloke. playing on Adelaide
$13.
Oval.
Not bad. Matty,
Sam's wickets.
Sam's,
Yep.
yep.
And Owen runs.
Sam's $34. Don't mind that. Mitch Owen $9.50.
I love Daniel Sam's.
I'll give you some thinking time, Kempy. I know you had a shocker last night, but
McSweeney? McSweeney?
Are you going to go
Wickets?
McSweeney?
Okay.
Wickets.
Yep.
McSweeney
runs.
for wickets.
Oh, runs.
They'll probably
Sorry,
go
runs.
runs.
He had the first a couple of years ago. Sorry.
McSweeney,
talking
$21. Yep. And wickets.
Oh, the GOAT. Nessa.
Okay. Well, he's going to miss you would have thought the
Okay,
first couple of
sorry, actually. Apologies. Take that back. Go, fuck. I don't even know. Kuhneman.
Yeah, don't mind that.
Yeah, that's
$61. Okay, bit of value. Don't mind it. I'm going Babar Azam, $41. Didn't start well the other night, but averages 40 in T20 cricket. I think that's a good price for a quality player. And then another Pakistan player, Shaheen Afridi. He was $41, top wicket taker, into 23 now. Quality bowler, going to have a lot on his plate for the Heat, but I reckon those guys will be thereabouts this tournament.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
That's an episode done and dusted. Thanks for everyone listening. We appreciate it. And this is the last episode for the year. We will be back in the new year, most likely January 7th or whatever it is. If not, definitely the week after that. Hope you have a good Christmas. Hug your loved ones. All that good stuff. Thanks for listening for the year. Just given the circumstances, obviously would have, I guess, celebrated the year a little bit more, but on the podcast. But given the circumstances, pay respect to what's happened. But a massive thank you, guys. We really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next year.